Hey, what is up, guys? Gangster Jeweler here. So today, today before we even mention what we're doing, we need to mark these, because usually they look at the M1 of 2, M2 of 2, because usually a lot of these stores, they just look at the back, they see the red, they know it's done. So, and if I forget to put it on there, trust me, they let me know. So anyways, what we're working on today, so we got a ring, white gold ring. What is up with these rings with these thin ass shanks? It's got a pretty good thickness, but it's just so not wide. Any rate, let's see, what size are we going to? We're going from a 7 to 7.5, so it says. Let's see what it is on our mandrel. It is it's a 6 3/4. And we're going to a 7.5. So we're definitely gonna have to cut it for sure. So we're 6 3/4. We're going to a 7.5. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the cardinal sin, guys. You can use a jeweler saw, or you can just cut it. Preferably, I say just cut it. Now I did this a little bit off to the side, mainly because that bottom part's a little thin, so I want to kind of add our piece a little off to the side there. Just a tad bit off to the side. And then we're going to open it up. There we go. And remember, I'm going fast because we want to open it up to where there's not a lot of pressure being put on the piece that we're going to put in there. Because we don't want put too much pressure and then you risk the piece blowing out, especially if it's been welded before, or somebody used easy solder and you're trying to use hard solder. It'll go ahead and blow out on you. Which in my last video, or the video before that, a couple videos back, you get a good example of that. I had a ring that I was sizing. It was 18 karat, it was going up 3 sizes. And somebody had used easy solder on it. And since we're using hard solder, the piece went ahead and blew out on us. So that will happen from time to time. Let's go ahead and file these sides down just a hair. There we go, and then we need to straighten this shank out a little bit. It's a little crooked. Hold on, I gotta adjust you guys a little bit here. Alright. Now let's find us a piece that we can use. Piece of white gold that we can use. If you got sizing stock, that's great. If you got pieces of white gold shanks, you can use that too, as long as they're the same width and thickness. That's just going to be up to you. I did make a video a while back about making sizing stock from your desk. You can cast your sizing stock, but a lot of people that are starting out ain't going to have all that equipment. You can make your own sizing stock at the desk. Not a biggie. We don't need a very big piece to go in there, because we don't have too big of a gap to fill here. So what we might do That actually would be about the right size right there. It's gonna be a tiny ass piece going in there. Boy, I hope we don't drop that. Boy, this ought to be fun. Alright, let's see if we can get this locked in here. Just enough so that we can file the side and cut our groove for the piece. And then cut us a little groove. I just like to do that to kind of help hold the piece in. Makes it lock in a lot better. Or helps hold it in, I guess I should say. And let's see if we can hit this other side. It's a very small piece we're gonna have to put in there. Now some of you might be tempted to just beat it up if it's a thick shank. I don't really recommend that. If it's going a quarter size, sure. But if you're going a half size, maybe even a half size you could, depending on how thick the shank is. But if you're going more than that, you really need to add gold to it. Otherwise you're gonna thin the shank out. And this shank is already pretty small as it is, you know, so. I'm just sorry, I'm concentrating, trying to keep that little piece on there. Trying to keep it from falling. Because it is a very small piece. Alright, there's our tiny little piece that's going in there. And actually, I hope it ain't too big. Hope I filed it down enough. I think I did. Ooh, that thing's about to fall out. About to fall out. Come on, don't pop out on me. Alright, I think this is the best we're going to get it set in there. Now what we need to do is just hope and pray nobody used easy solder. That would be nice. There's a lot of people using easy solder around here, man. Because lately it seems like every ring I'm sizing, I'm popping pieces out. Or it's coming apart somewhere else. Because easy flows, well, I mean, you guys know, but for those that don't know, the veterans will know, but easy solder flows way before medium and hard does. Hard takes the longest to flow, so if you're using hard solder and somebody used easy, well, it's going to come apart where they used the easy before your hard flows. So that's just something to keep in mind. But you always want to use hard, because if you use easy, especially for sizing rings, your shanks are just going to come apart like pretty quick. You shouldn't be using easy or medium to size rings for sure. If you got to for chains, that's fine, but I always say try to use hard for everything. I use hard for it. Like I said, I don't even buy easy or medium. All I buy is hard. I don't have a sheet of easy or medium. So it can be done. You can do prongs with hard as well. You know, a lot of people say, well, you can't do prongs. Yeah, you can. It takes a little more practice, you know, but that's why I said you probably want to start out with hard, because if you get used to using easy and medium, you get to where you rely on it too much, and then it just doesn't, then you get to where you can't use hard at all. because you start having issues. But like I said, I'm just one man. I don't pretend to know everything. I've been doing it for 30 years, so I know quite a bit, but I'm always still learning. Like I said in a couple videos back, somebody had mentioned something. It was actually a really good idea about the wire for the hollow chains, like the hollow Cubans. And that is not a bad idea at all. Now let's see if we can make this one a little quicker than the last video. We're not trying to do any custom modifying. So as long as the piece don't blow out on us, this should be a fairly quick video. Hope it's quicker than the last one, because I think that one, at the time I'm filming this, I still haven't edited or looked at that one, but it's probably 2 hours plus just for an end tab. All because of my bright thinking and idea. Let me zoom you guys in here. We got our solder on there. So now we're just going to see if we can get it to flow. Hopefully a piece doesn't blow out on us. And we're using a 5 tip. I like to use 5 for most rings. Occasionally I'll use a 6 if it's a really big, wide, like man shank. But most of the time I'm using a 5 unless it's a really, really thick shank. Alright, we got that one side to go through, so I want to go ahead and pull the other side through before we... This way we ain't got to worry about a piece blowing out on us. Okay, that went through, that went through. Alright. Nice. That went fairly smooth. It's nice we got one of those for a change. Well, I'm out of water on the desk. I need to get some more water, so I got a water bowl behind me and cooled it off there. Alright guys, well, we got our piece welded in there. Looks a little ugly right now, but we're only going like 3/4 sizes, and that's right where we want to be too, right at about a 7 1/4. You always want to be about a 1/4 size lower, because by the time you file and polish and everything, it's going to bump up a little bit. So, and we're going to do a little bit of tapping, but nothing too crazy. You don't always want to measure for right on the 7 1/2, because if you do, then by the time you round it out, polish it, then it's going to end up being bigger than 7 1/2. So you always want to try to be about a 1/4 size smaller, or a 1/4 size from whatever size you're going to. So say like you're going to, in this case we were going up to 7 1/2, so we want to be 7 1/4. Now if you were going, say, down to a 6, just go ahead and mark that actual, because by the time you file the sides and polish, it'll be right on the money. So going down is a little bit different, but if you're going up, always try to be about a 1/4 size smaller than where you're going. You don't want to be right on it as soon as you're done welding, because if that's the case, you're probably going to have to cut a piece out a little bit and redo it, because you're going to end up with it being too big then at that point. So we're going to go ahead and let me zoom you guys back out here. So we're going to go ahead and tap on this a little bit, just on that piece that we put in there. Yeah, almost. Almost. And we're just tapping on the bottom with the ball peen hammer a little bit. Not hitting real hard. Don't need to slam it. So we're almost there. We're kind of like in between a 7 and 3, 7 and a quarter, 7.5. So we are almost there. Let's go ahead and tap the rest of the ring with our rubber mallet here. Kind of round it out a little better. Almost. Almost. Finally, we got somebody who's got normal size fingers for a change. Alright, 7.5. Alright, that's kind of like a tight 7.5, so we're not going to do any more tapping because we still got some filing and polishing we need to do, and by then we should be about where we want to be. So let's go ahead and let's smooth this inside down a little bit. Or file it down a little bit, I should say. Come on. Alright, let's go ahead and switch to our other rock so we can do the outside of the shank and the sides. Now let's go ahead and file them sides down a little bit because there's quite a bit of excess there. Then we'll hit it with the metal file. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and grab our metal file here. And remember, we're just lightly running across. We don't need to push real hard. But essentially what we're doing is we're blending our piece in on the sides so that's flush. Remember, when you put a piece in, the idea or the goal is for it to not be noticeable where you even put it in at. That is the ultimate goal anyways. No. I was just fixing to say we had that side done, but it's still a little bit off. I need to switch back to the inside rock for a minute. All right, let's go ahead and hit the file on the other side. Okay. That's a fairly thick shank, but it's not a very wide one. Not very wide at all. Not very thick at all. Alright, now we need to run our file across the top here a little bit of that piece, or where we put that piece in at. And I'm kind of glad we put that off a little bit to the side. I didn't really want to do it right on the bottom, just because of how thin this already is. And I knew we were going to have to get it even with the rest of the shank and file it a little bit, so I just didn't think that would work out too well, and it worked out real good for us this time compared to the last video with the end tab. That one did not work out quite as. We need to do a tiny little bit of tapping here. It's still a little bit of a tight 7.5. 7.5. Kind of a tight. And you want to make sure it's the right size on both sides, because you can have it say like a 7.5 on one side and then have it say 7.25 or 7.75 on the other side. So you always want to make sure you got the right. All right, 7.5 and 7.5. So we're 7.5 on the money. We're not going to do any more because we still got to smooth it out, and still got to smooth it out and polish it. So So let's go ahead and smooth the inside out first with our silicone wheel. Oh. Alright, something we need to do real quick. I need to file that inside down just a tad bit more. And then we're going to have to go back and smooth it again. Where that piece is that we put in. Just a smudge, a bit more. Alright, now let's go back. Let's go back and smooth it out on the inside again. There we go, that looks a lot better. Much better. Sorry guys, I gotta stand up for a second. My freaking foot's falling asleep on me. What a bitch. At the time I'm filming this video, I've been out here, or been doing repairs all day, so it's been a long day, and my foot just decided it wanted to fall asleep. So at any rate, let's go ahead and smooth the back and the sides down now. With our silicone wheel, that basically smooths it out, gets a lot of the deep scratches out and stuff. Alright, let's hit the sides up. Get them looking halfway decent again. Not a super thick wide shank on this thing, but hey, we're not the one making the rings, and we're not the ones selling it, so we're just sizing it. Alright guys, I had a funny feeling somebody would use easy solder. I think you guys can see that pit that's in there. That's not where we welded it, but that's where somebody, one of two things happened. They either used easy there or they got it too hot. So while we were smoothing it out, it decided to pit a little bit there. So we're gonna see if we can get that out without having to file it down too much. If we do, we'll just have to leave it because the shank's already wide and thin as it is, or not very wide and thin. Let's give that one more. Smooth that out. Hopefully we got that out of there, and then we will be ready to go clean her up and polish her. Oh yeah, worked out great. We got that out of there. So we got that little pit that was there. Like I said, that comes from either somebody using easy or getting the solder too hot. If you leave it there too long, the solder will pit. 7.5 and 7.5. Alright, I'm going to drop this in ultrasound and go polish it, and then we will come back and look at the finished product, guys. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back with that ring. You see we got it nice, clean, polished. Let me zoom you guys in here. Got a lot of fuzz balls on it here. So we got it nice, clean, and polished. Got it sized from a, they say a 7.5 to, or I mean a 7 to a 7.5. It was like 6 3/4. More like 6 3/4 to a 7.5. But at any rate, guys, we got that all polished and done and taken care of. And this is Gangsta Jeweler. If you would like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you'd like to leave a tip or donation, you can. The link for that will be down in the description, although it's not required. Just helps the channel grow and show some love. Also, if you're looking to buy jewelry in the Jacksonville area, I highly recommend Money Miser on Blanding Boulevard. And if you're looking to buy jewelry online, I highly recommend Stellar Jewelry. I'll have the link for that down in the description as well. If you'd like for me to do your repairs, you can visit my Etsy shop. I'll have the link for that down in the description. And also, if you would like to check out my Twitch live stream, which is more like a reaction channel stream, I'll have the link for that down in the description. And also my other YouTube channel, which is pretty much where all my live streams go, in case you miss them. I'll have the link for that down in the description as well. But I appreciate everybody watching. Shout out to all the stores that use me. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to everybody, man. I can't name them all. But shout out to all you guys. And I appreciate you guys watching. This is another one down. We'll have plenty more to come. But this is the Gangsta Jeweler, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. And I will see you on the next one, guys. Take care.